Hi, and welcome to another edition of Round Robin. I am not Robin McCormick. I am Mike Holtzclaw. I'm filling in today for Robin, and today I am talking with Patrick Ryan, who is the host of the award-winning Tuesday Night Jam, Open Jam at Stuft in Phoebus. And we are going to talk a little music and learn about what it is that makes this the best open mic in the area. Ain't that right?
I think so too. Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of years ago, you guys won the Veer Magazine Local Music Award.
That's correct. Yeah, last year we were nominated, and we're blessed to win the award and blessed for everything that we have going on over there and all the people that come out and do their thing and talent and the community that we've created. Yeah.
So there are a lot of open mics in the area. We're very blessed in that way, and every one of them has its own character that's developed by the host, by the venue, by the artists who show up. You guys, I like that it's called an open jam rather than an open mic. There's a really groovy vibe to it, more so than your standard singer-songwriter open mic. Tell me a little bit, first off, about the band that you lead there.
Yeah, so it sort of began with a conversation between myself and Casey Haas, the owner down there at Stuft, and sort of brainstorming about how to make things more fresh and different for like you said, there's a lot of different open mics out there. And we sort of landed on the idea of having some of the best players in Hampton Roads that are just, everyone is friends with, everyone knows, everyone looks up to, myself included, get in there and be able to provide a place for people to come express themselves musically, come grow musically, and without that sort of like, I guess you could say, structured, like this is a list, this is who's playing what and doing what. It's sort of opened in the sense that people can get up there and perform with one another, folks who have never met before. I see it all the time. They come up and they perform together. It sounds great. It sounds like they've been playing for a long time. And I think that's because of, like you said, the people that are there, the band that's there, who encourage that. And we've got my good friend Paul Warren on the bass. I know you know Mr. Paul Warren.
My good friend also.
Yes, sir. And another friend of mine as well, Sean Fields, who began with us. He just recently had his second child, so he's taken some time, and Mr. Danny Lubertazzi is going to be has been filling those shoes for a while.
Terrific guitar player.
Phenomenal, and of course Smithfield Dash on the drum set. He does more with a 4-piece, 5-piece drum set than I've seen people do with a 17-piece drum set. And I think that sort of environment, seeing people do that with, he can do that with this, and it makes people want to be able to figure out how to do that and grow musically. So I just think it's, the right people came into place and they had the right spot. Stuft is a wonderful restaurant. The stage there is nice. It's really good. And I gotta also shout out who's not a band member, but my buddy Erwin from Sounds Right Production runs sound for us every Tuesday. So we have professional sound. So it's a legitimate stage. It's all very well taken care of, and yeah.
It's wonderful seeing the collaboration on stage. That like you said, you've got the 4-piece band up there, and then it's sort of this rotating cast of characters who will take turns coming up, and a couple of people come up together and just they're harmonizing and they're playing together. And it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, there's not a lot of rehearsal. It's they get together, and to me, to a non-musician like myself, watching a group of musicians get up there and say, "Hey, let's play this," and everybody just falls in and knows what their place is going to be and knows where they should come in and when they should lay back, and to the untrained eye, it looks like, you guys have been planning this. But what is that magic that happens when a group of good musicians get up and just start improvising?
It's a conversation. It's a musical conversation that occurs, and in order to have that conversation, you have to be speaking the same language, and that's why you say, you know, a group of good musicians get up there. But it's also one of those things where you know it when you see it. If you're like you see a bunch of people up there that are just really, there's an energy coming from them from the stage, and you know they get done and you talk to them a little bit, and I didn't even know that song. I just knew what key it was in. You know, I didn't know what you know, oh really, it sounded like you guys have rehearsed it. And you're right, they're typically well, I can't speak for the bands that come out there, because I'm sure, I mean, a lot of them are phenomenal bands. They come out and they've had rehearsal time, I'm sure. But the sort of spur of the moment things that happen, that's the gold. It really is. It's phenomenal. It's I'm lucky to be able to witness and be a part of that.
What do you think your role is? Because at the start of the night, you'll do a couple of songs. Mm-hmm. But on the one hand, it's your job, hosting the open mic, to keep things going, to set a tone. But then once that magic starts to happen, it's kind of your role to get out of the way. And, mm-hmm. you know, it's not about you.
No.
This isn't a Patrick Ryan show. Those are on other nights.
That's very true, yes.
But how do you know that in your head when you're on stage and you're playing and the band is playing? Mm-hmm. What is the cue that you take when it's time for me to kind of step into the shadows and mm-hmm. let whoever is up there, mm-hmm. you know, let those guys, let it be about them?
Right. I mean, it's one of those things where it can be kind of like an ego check, right? So if you have to realize that I went into this without having a whole lot of open mic administration experience, and I've learned so much about just how to see, like, okay, I have the list there, right? I'm playing a show, I'm playing four songs or so, and you know, I look at the crowd. Is the crowd into it? Is the crowd awake, so to speak? Are they you know, taking videos or excited for the situation? And usually 9 times out of 10, as soon as I see, you know, that list is got enough people on there, and the crowd is ready to, you know, they want to hear some more music, I'm okay with stepping back. My role then becomes from, I look at it like I have different bosses, right? So my boss is, number 1, the restaurant. Number 2, the crowd. The crowd is really the restaurant's boss, right? So at the end of the day, when that's all working out, I can step down and focus on the musicians who are also my boss, right? So I'm serving them, trying to create the community to make it easy for people to get up there and perform, not necessarily what I want them to perform or need, or, you know what I mean? I love seeing new stuff up there, so I try to encourage it. And, you know, it just depends. If you have a busy night, we might play 2 songs just to make sure the sound sounds good and everything's good. We might play 4 if it's a not so busy night, you know. I love any opportunity to get up there and perform with new people and see new people. And, yeah, so.
New people can often be the key to it, because I know you have regulars. Any open mic night has regulars, local musicians, very talented people who have a following, who mm-hmm. are, you know, they're going to show up, they're going to play. But I'm betting every Tuesday night you have at least one person who says, never played at an open mic before, but I want to give this a try. Mm-hmm. What is that like, watching someone, whatever their age, watching someone get up on stage, know it? The crowd might not know it, but you know this is their first time doing this. Maybe it's not their first time on stage, maybe it is. But what is it like watching someone have that experience?
It's really gratifying. It's really gratifying for me, just because I know that, you know, creating those opportunities for people like that to get out and perform, I'm not nervous for them, but I know they're nervous sometimes, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I have to follow that, or, you know, you see, you know, 5-minute Paul Warren bass solo, or Jason Cale comes in for a few minutes to perform with somebody, and then I'll have to follow that, the acoustic guy or girl, you know, and they still do it, and oftentimes it's just it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch from the start, right? So if you see someone from the start get out there, and then next thing you know, they've met two people from the open mic, and now they have a trio going, and they want to, and they're all having fun together. It's really just more or less, it's fun to watch the community build itself while I step out of the way and just make sure the wheels are turning the right way.
And that's one of the cool things about having a full band is that newcomer doesn't have the fear of, I'm standing up there by myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's me and my acoustic guitar, and if I screw up, I got nowhere to hide. But when you get up there, and Patrick Ryan's to my left, Paul Warren is laying down the bass to my right, I got a band behind me, and if my chords aren't exactly right, or if I forget words, the music is still playing and it's still going to be top notch. The crowd's not going to be rolling their eyes. That has to create a very welcoming environment.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, it does, and it makes it a lot easier. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some acoustic performers. They'll get up there and maybe they don't want the band. Maybe they've written some original music and they want to perform their original songs, which is great, and I love that. We all do. We want to hear that. We want to promote, especially original music, but to watch it. It kind of is a way to put your toe in the water, so to speak, to have the guys backing you, or the folks up there backing you, which I think is great, And a lot of the musicians that come out there are able to watch and listen to what they performed, thanks to folks like Mitch Kreisner, and he's a phenomenal guy, and putting time in to record the videos and music, that kind of thing, and I think it's like school. It's like you're learning every single time. If you're not learning, I hope you're at least having fun, So
you refer to it as school. You've got I think one of the coolest elements actually of the Stuft Open Jam is that you've got some kids who are still in school, and I don't mean college.
Yeah,
you've got some regular performers who are not old enough to drive a car yet.
Very true.
Talk about a couple of them and what it's like, especially early on, to see kids, really legitimately kids, have the talent, but also the confidence in that talent to say, I'm going to get up on stage with Patrick Ryan and with Paul Warren and with Bobby Blackhat, and I'm going to play. I'm not going to kind of hide in the background. Talk about some of the kids who have gotten up there and played.
Yeah, so there's several young men that come out there and perform. It's really fun to watch. From I believe the inaugural Open Jam at Stuft that I hosted, I think 2 years ago. Caden is his name. Is a very, very talented young guitar player. He was there the first night, and I think he might have missed maybe in total, you could count it on one hand probably since that first night. Now, when he first came out, he was good. He had the ability to play, but he's learning things. He's learning how to communicate on stage. He's learning that little things like not playing over top of people. I've seen him go the curve of his improvement just from coming out and performing like folks like Bobby Blackhat, and is just gone. It's just straight up, and it's fun to watch. It makes me wish that there was something like that for when I was a kid. And there was to some degree, but it wasn't as I don't want to say welcoming, but it wasn't as conducive for someone who's younger who wants to get out and perform. So Caden's phenomenal. He's a great guitar player, awesome kid. And there's Carter on the drum set is another one of the folks that come out, and he's so good at the drums, man. I've watched him enthusiastically just get better and better and better. And DJ on the drum set as well. They're sort of the three that they never cease to impress or amaze the folks who are watching, including myself.
One of the things that grows out of that sense of community that you foster is that it goes beyond Stuft. It goes beyond this open mic. I've been at Bobby Blackhat shows where he will call Caden and a couple of the other kids up, and he'll have his own band sit down.
Yeah.
And Caden will take over and play guitar behind Bobby Blackhat.
You never know what's going to happen at a Bobby Blackhat
You
show.
never know. What do you think makes a really good open mic? And obviously, you want talented musicians. You want the music to be good. But we said at the start, every open mic has its own vibe, has its own character. What makes an open mic distinctive enough that someone who is there for it, whether it's a musician or someone who's just there at Stuft having dinner on a Tuesday night, but they say, this is pretty cool, I want to come back. What makes that?
I think it's a mix of, number one, the venue itself, and number two, the people that are putting it on, and the sort of the direction that they're going with it to create that. So, I think everyone on the team, I really call it a team that we put this together for, they're at work. We're at work. We're not messing around. There's no, in between set times, it's just run professionally, very professionally, and it's known. I hope it's known to be run professionally, and I think that's really kind of the biggest thing. I mean, aside from the musicians, but if you give someone a fun place to express themselves and learn and perform, and support that, I really think that it's sort of it'll eventually cultivate and run itself to some point, as long as you maintain or improve upon whatever sort of foundation you have. As long as that foundation is good and it's set out the right way, I think that's so important. And also, there's word of mouth. That's because we get people in there. I've had people come in from North Carolina. I mean, I'm in town for the such and such, and I just wanted to stop by for this because I heard, that. So it's one of those things where, like, once enough people know that it's a really good place to be on a Tuesday night, they tell their friends, and that's important, it's because they come out, and because without the audience being there, it's just kind of, it'd still be fun for the musicians, but the bar might not be too happy.
I love seeing, you never know what, you have your regulars, but you also have a surprise every night of who's going to show up. And I think the first time I came out to a Tuesday night at Stuft, Caleb Folks came riding in on his skateboard, barefoot, and riding a skateboard in through the door at Stuft, and sign up to do a couple of songs.
Yeah.
So that's always. Do you put the word out and try and get more musicians out, or is that more just word of mouth?
No, absolutely. I definitely. There's a lot of time on the back end, right? So of just trying to reach out to people, get them out there, and it's not just me. It's myself and Smithfield and Paul and everybody there that have their connections. They know people. I mean, we've had folks like Phoenix Roebuck, from Phil Roebuck and them,
sure.
Come on out with stand-up bass. I'm a huge stand-up bass by herself on that stage doing her thing.
She's terrific.
It's phenomenal. She's so good. Jason Kale's come out before to perform with young lady on the drums. I forget her name. She's, and these are all just, I've reached out to some people. Paul's reached out to some people. It's a collective effort. I might be the guy who hosts it, but we all are working there. We're all making it happen. Like it would not be what it is without everybody that's involved.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick Ryan, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. I
for
appreciate
coming
it.
out. The Tuesday Night Open Jam every Tuesday night at Stuft. Go out, listen to some great music, have some good tacos. For Round Robin, I am Mike Holtzclaw. Thank you so much for stopping by.